Driftwood and the hill country brought Sharon and Ben Jones back to her home state after years in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. To orient herself to the dramatic change, which included equally dramatic slopes in their property, Sharon worked with landscape designer Scott Thurmon and architectural designer Robert McKay.
We wanted to walk out from the house, not have to go down a bunch of stairs. And we wanted to have a patio up here so it would be easy in and out when we were eating outside and entertaining outside. And then we wanted to slope down to where the swimming pool is. And we wanted it to be sort of a 3-4-0 landscape, but with some things that, you know, the color and things that required a little more water. But we wanted definitely to be thought-worthy of the water situation out here in the hill country.
When we first started the project, there was just a drop-off from the back porch down to the level that the swimming pool's on.
And so we were looking to produce something that would create some patio spaces and transition from the higher level of the house to the lower level of the pool.
Instead of stairs, they moderated the slope and topped it with flagstone and gravel. At the bottom, walkways diverge. One leads to the grassy park. Another heads to the pool. An upper path along the house surveys the widescreen view. Robert chose steel to contain the levels and to define beds and patios. His design responds to the curves of the landscape and softens the angles of the house.
We wanted to introduce a little more fluid line, and the steel worked beautifully for that. It gave a real nice sense of movement and sort of echoed the pool shapes, and it's been a beautiful framing device for the plants. During the winter, when the plants go dormant, the steel really takes on more of a prominence and a sculptural aspect, and then during the spring and the summer, as the plants grow out, you know, it sort of just functions as a nice soft backdrop for everything.
Robert and Scott carried that backdrop to the pool, integrating its borders with the upper design. In the park, they built Sharon a contemplative stopping point in its expanse.
It's a very good angle to look at the house, to see all the backyard, and I can look at the ironwork and I can look at the plants, and basically it's kind of like a command center. I can see what's going on, and it's very quiet, and I sit out there and read, and behind me the deer will walk by in the pasture back there. It's just a very peaceful, calming little circle.
But a lot of those decisions were just kind of made on the fly as we reached that point in the project and realized, you know, there was an opportunity to create that link. You can work in the studio all day, and then sometimes you just get an idea when you're sitting, you know, having lunch and looking at the project, you know, it just comes together.
One idea was the gate he designed to enter the garden. In front, again he used steel to break up the home's angular lines with a curving balcony, and then saluted them with an upright planter. He and Scott brought in boulders to extend the natural ledge of the hilltop and to deflect gully washers away from the house. In the foundation beds, they disguised a French drain with stones, extending its lines as a visual point of movement. When selecting plants, Sharon relied on Scott to transition her from Steamboat Springs to Driftwood with its different timetable and weather.
But I must say, I guess once a Texan, always a Texan. And you just have to put up with the heat. It's very important when you're planning your landscape to have the right plants that will adjust to your climate.
Since the front isn't fenced, Sharon learned another element to gardening in the hill country.
The deer are a constant reminder that nature always wins, and they don't read lists.
But front and back, Scott understood what Sharon wanted to experience, even with plants new to her.
I selected a lot of grasses and things for movement, and then also plants with really sculptural shapes that would kind of stand against or silhouette against the steel.
Scott allied diverse areas and specimens with repetition in form. He contrasted formal presentation against floppier plants and against the rural setting. But mainly, working with Scott and Robert gave Sharon the garden that brought her back home.
Sharon has done a fantastic job. She's got two really great guys to help. But I always say that she's smarter than the average bear.